Hi everyone, and welcome back to My Mark on Life. I retired at 55, and I've been sharing my experiences as I navigate retirement on a modest budget. Now here's a little backstory. I decided to retire early, and that meant relying on my investments for 5 years before starting my pension at age 60. I could have taken my pension earlier, but by doing that, it would have meant a significant reduction in my monthly income, and I wanted to avoid that long-term hit. So, I made a plan. I sat down, ran the numbers, and figured out how to live off my investments in the meantime. It hasn't always been easy, but it's been incredibly rewarding. And honestly, you don't need a massive bank account to enjoy your retirement. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to retire on a small budget and still live a life you love. Whether you're planning for early retirement or just want to stretch your dollars further in your golden years, this video is for you. Let's kick things off with what I think is the most important part of retiring on a small budget, and that's your mindset. We're constantly being told that you need $1 million, or maybe even $2 million, to retire comfortably. And having that kind of money would be nice, but for many of us, that's just not the reality. But here's the good news. A happy retirement doesn't depend on the size of your bank account, it depends on how you approach life. When I retired, I had to let go of the idea that retirement meant traveling the world in luxury or eating out 5 nights a week. I had to redefine what enjoying life meant for me. Turns out, it wasn't about cruises or fancy restaurants. It was about time freedom, being healthy, connecting with people, having fewer responsibilities, and doing things I genuinely enjoy. Like being out in nature, reading, or just having a slow morning with a good cup of coffee. If you approach retirement thinking, how can I make the most of what I have, instead of why don't I have more, you're already halfway there. The next big step for me was downsizing. And I don't just mean getting a smaller place. I mean simplifying everything. Before retiring, I was living a fairly typical working life. Bigger house, 2 cars, closets full of stuff I didn't use. When I stopped working, I realized I didn't need most of it. Now downsizing can mean a lot of things. Moving to a smaller home, getting rid of excess furniture, clothes, and gadgets, selling that second car, or cutting monthly bills and subscriptions. For me, I went through everything I owned and asked, do I still need this in the new chapter of my life? And if the answer was no, I sold it, donated it, or let it go. What I gained was far more valuable than the space I gave up. I felt lighter, more focused, and less overwhelmed. A smaller home meant lower property taxes, reduced utility bills, and less maintenance. Fewer things just meant less stress. And the money I saved could go towards actual experiences, not just keeping up appearances. Now, let's talk about one of the best parts of retirement, adventure. You might think retiring on a small budget means giving up travel, but that's not true. I still explore, I still go places, I just do it differently. One of my favorite things is car camping. I set up my vehicle for overnight trips, hit the road, and explore places I might have ignored before. Whether it's a national park, a quiet lake, or a small historic town, these mini adventures feel just as rewarding as international trips. Here are some tips that have worked for me. Use free camping apps to find overnight spots. Bring your own food and supplies. Look for senior or off-season discounts. And travel midweek when places are quieter and cheaper. I've also taken advantage of local attractions. There are museums with free days, community concerts in the park, and hiking trails everywhere. A short drive and a packed lunch can turn into a day you'll never forget. It's not about how far you go, it's about how deeply you enjoy the experience. Alright, let's get a bit more practical. If you're going to retire on a small budget, you need a clear plan. When I retired at 55, I knew exactly how much I had saved. And I had a 5-year window to live on that money before starting my pension at 60. That meant getting intentional with every single dollar. So, here's what I did. I tracked my spending for a few months before retiring. It actually helped me see where my money was really going. I created a monthly budget based on needs, not wants. So, housing, food, insurance, gas, etc. And I added a category for fun, because retirement shouldn't feel like punishment. Also, I switched to a lower cost phone and internet plan. Bought groceries in bulk and meal prepped, and used cashback and reward apps. Budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. When you know where your money's going, you feel more in control. And that peace of mind is priceless. And Here's something I've learned. The most meaningful parts of life are often free. After retiring, I had more time than ever before, and that time became my greatest resource. I started walking every day, which is great for the body and the mind. I started reading again, something I'd let slip for years. I reached out to old friends that I hadn't been in contact with in a while, and I learned new skills, like editing these YouTube videos. There's something beautiful about waking up with no alarm clock, knowing your day is your own. The joy of sitting quietly in nature or having a conversation without having to rush off somewhere. That's what makes retirement so special. You know what? Money can't buy that kind of peace. Now, a quick word on health, because we're talking about enjoying life in retirement, and this matters a lot. Staying healthy helps you avoid medical bills, but more importantly, it keeps you able to do the things you enjoy. I make a point every day of walking, stretching, and eating well, and I do it all in a tight budget. And don't forget about connection. Loneliness can creep in during retirement if you're not intentional. I make time to talk to people, whether it's a neighbor, an old friend, or someone I meet on the road. Staying healthy and staying connected will keep your spirit alive, no matter how much money you have. So there you have it, my guide to retiring on a small budget and still enjoying life. It's not always easy, and it definitely takes some planning, but I can honestly say I'm happier now than when I was working full-time. I have more freedom, less stress, and a deeper appreciation for the simple things. If you're on a fixed income or thinking about retiring early, I want you to know that it is possible. With a smart plan, the right mindset, and a willingness to live intentionally, you can create a retirement that's not just financially sustainable, but deeply fulfilling. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm here to share honest experiences from someone trying to figure it out one day at a time. Thank you so much for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.